I'm in a bind, I have a problem, I have a challenge. The last time I did a bee inspection on the hive that I found 2 queen cells in, I didn't see the queen. And so now I'm faced with a real dilemma, and I want to work through it with you because you'll get to see the process I take when I'm trying to solve a problem like this, trying to figure out how do I keep this hive from swarming when I have very cold temperatures coming in. Hey everybody, David Burns, good to be with you today. Pumped and excited to be with you. I'm really looking forward to this particular video. It's not really one I've made before, I don't think, like this, where I'm actually doing a strategy with you, and you're going to get to hear me think the process through and how you keep your hive from swarming. In this particular case, I love this queen and I have to raise more queens from this queen. She's a breeder queen for me. I can't afford to have her swarm and go out to the trees and never see her again. I gotta have her genetics. So here's the deal. If you look at this weather app that I have on my phone, it shows that today is the last day that I'm going to get above 65 degrees where I can go out and do another inspection. The problem that I have with this hive is that I didn't see the queen the last time I was in it. I saw the swarm cells, 2 of them, which is a little bit odd because normally you would see a lot of swarm cells. I only saw 2, which I kind of wonder, you know, sometimes bees could make supersedure cells just on the bottom. So I don't want to do anything to the cells that I saw. Several of you asked me questions. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Here we go. Here's what I'm thinking. And this is just my years of experience. I don't want to destroy those cells because I did not put eyes on my queen. I did see eggs, but the day that I saw eggs, something could have happened to her, you know, just an hour or 2 or 4 hours earlier. She could have died or got killed or something. And so until I see the queen in there, I'm not going to destroy any of these cells. So that's why it's kind of critical. Now, can I go out there today and inspect it? It's not the best day for that. The winds are almost 26 miles an hour right out of the south, and the bees just can't fight this wind. And so that's why it's tough. But this is the last good day. It still looks kind of stormy and blustery, but it is just so windy today. The bees aren't even flying even though it's 65 degrees out there. It's warm enough to do an inspection, but the winds are horrible. And so all the bees are home. I guess I could do it. So here's what I'm thinking. The weather app shows that this is the last day I can go do anything until next Monday. As you can see here, on Monday, it's finally going to be warm enough for me to open up a hive and do something like inspect it. So the problem with this, those cells that we spotted, they're going to be capped over on probably Wednesday or Thursday. That means that if those indeed are swarm cells, even though there's just 2, and they are getting prepared to swarm, that means that they're going to swarm on, I don't know, maybe Sunday or Monday. Whatever day the temperature is going to rise enough where they're going to be able to fly. So even at 54 degrees here on this particular day at 54, they could swarm. And that's going to be before I get a chance to go in there and do an inspection, find the queen, and resolve this dilemma that I'm in. Now, if I wait till the next day when it's in the 60s, a better day to do an inspection, and let's say that I see the queen, what am I going to do? I don't think it's time to make splits yet. I need about 2 more weeks before I can make a split. But I guarantee you if I don't, and those swarm cells are there, and they indeed are swarm cells, they're going to swarm. So my main goal in all of this strategy is how do I prevent this queen from leaving? How do I prevent a swarm right now? I can't do a Damari method because it requires 2 queen excluders. I've got a 30-degree night coming up in a few days. Anytime you have a queen excluder in your hive and they're clustering, you could actually kill your colony because, or they'll kill the queen. The cluster may move through the queen excluder, but the queen may the queen can't. So I can't really start using any queen excluders. I can't use double screen bottom boards because it's going to be too cold. I need them to stay together. It's one colony should they want to cluster at 30 degrees. If it's 30 degrees and windy and it's only 40 degrees high the next day or the previous day, they're going to kind of tighten up that cluster. I can't put anything in there like queen excluders or double screen bottom boards, things like that. I can't do a Damari method yet. So it's too early. That's my dilemma. I know a lot of you are thinking, do this, do that. Well, maybe you live in the South where it's warm enough. I don't have that kind of luxury right now. So the problem is I see the swarm date. If all of this pans out to be swarm cells and they're gearing up to swarm, I can see them swarming on Monday. Maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, somewhere around there. Now, can I get out there? Now, the problem too is if I go out there and let's say everything worked out perfectly. I went out there Monday, I saw the queen. I was able to put her in a cage to keep them from swarming or something. What do I do then? I'm still 2 weeks early before I can make splits. But they're going to split, right? So do I chance it? And then all at once we get a cold Alberta clipper? I mean, you just don't know what the weather's going to do. So I'm really debating this. Or probably, now that I'm just hashing it out with you, maybe if I go out there today, battle the wind, battle the bees. It is warm enough to do an inspection, but barely. I mean, it's 65, let's see it, my watch says. Okay, it's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So I could go out there today, do an inspection, but they're not flying. I have that, they're right up next to that building where I can open those doors, set up a table. I've done this before. I could take the honey super off when I'm hoping she's up there. So I could pull the honey super into that room to get out of the wind. And then I could put the top back on the hive, the 2 deeps, and then I could start inspecting this honey super, looking for the queen inside that room. Now that might be a good idea. Okay, so if I see the queen and there she is, then all I have to do is destroy the swarm cells. I did not see any more swarm cells. I inspected it like 2 days ago, I think, 3 maybe at the most. So I don't see any other swarm cells. This is coming out to be a pretty darn good idea. I'm kind of liking it actually. Wow, I'm getting pumped and excited now. So yeah, now the problem is if I pull the super indoors and she's not there, then I would just leave the super there, walk out into the wind. Maybe the building will shelter a little bit of the wind. Then I could just start looking through that top deep for the queen. Yeah, that might work. If I don't see her there, then I have to take that deep off, look in the bottom deep. Wow, that's going to be crazy. With all the bees there, I'm wearing my bee suit, I'm wearing my gloves. So now the scenario, let's say I do all of this work, I don't see the queen at all. What do I do then? Well, I'm going to have to leave those cells because that's all they have in the making. And, you know, I don't think they can't swarm without a queen. So I'm going to have to be really adamant about looking for the queen and verifying there she is. Or if I don't see her, I have to be 100% sure she's gone. She's out of there. Okay, so that's our plan. Oh my gosh. So are you ready to go out there with me and get this plan in action? I have other things I'd love to do today and stay out of the wind, but let's cowboy up and get this done. Okay, so my one mission today, is 2 parts. A, we're going to find the queen. And B, if we find her, we're going to knock down the swarm cells in the super. That's our only mission today. If we don't find her, we're leaving the queen cells. Wow, we got a lot to do. Let me pop in here and let you know that I've had a podcast on beekeeping that you might really enjoy. Look at my website. I'll leave a link here. You can listen to my podcast on my website, or you can listen to it on your favorite podcast app. You can even say to your Alexa, play Mysteries of Honeybees, and she'll play it for you. I mean, any app that you have, my podcast is there. And that's something if you want, you're driving down the road, want to listen to a podcast of me talking about bees, got you covered. Wow, they ate all the sugar water. Look at that. Drained it. Woo, empty. And they're looking for more. This is an example on a day like today when it's rainy and they're not being able to forage as much. They're going through this stuff. That's why we need to feed them in the spring. Wow, get more on there. Put a little smoke through the holes. These feeders are available. If you don't have one, they really do help you feed your bees in the spring or the fall. They're great for the fall to build up beads of winter physiology as well. I don't know if you can hear that wind, but atrocious. All right, we're going to take this super off and take it inside because it looks rainy. All right, we're going to kind of separate it here in the front. Get some smoke in there. Hoping the queen is in here. Let's put it over here. There, all right. Now let's put the top on this. We'll get back in here later, but for now, let's secure this in case it does start raining or get terribly windy. All right, now we're working indoors. And we're looking at the frames, and this is the frame of honey, a little bit of pollen. So we're looking for the queen. I did look back through some older videos, and I did notice the queen is marked with a kind of a faint red dot. I like having the box separated, this super separated right now, because the queen cannot go down into the deep below her. She's only got one place to stay. If she's up here, she's up here. Remember, I did see a red dot on her in a past video. So you help me look for the queen, because if she's up here, our life's going to be so much easier. These are honey super frames, so I doubt that we would see her. I don't see her, do you? Really going to be sad if I don't see her. Now there's a lot of larvae down in the base of these cells, so I hope you can see that. I'm looking for eggs. Need to confirm eggs. If I see eggs, then I know the queen has been here in the last 24 hours. Okay, I do see eggs down in these cells right here, so there's a queen in there. Our job is to locate her and confirm it and keep her safe, because she is our breeder queen. You know, it's amazing what breeder queens sell for. Thousands of dollars people pay for breeder queens. I know, it's insane, isn't it? What's the difference between a breeder queen and a production queen? Not much, other than, you know, you like the progenies of that queen and you raise queens from the queen. And your production queens are kind of from your breeder queen. Don't see her there. Oh no, we only have 5 more frames to look at. 5 more chances to find her. Uh-oh, then we're going to have to go out in the field in the wind and look through the deeps. That's no fun. A lot of larvae in there, in the base of those cells. Oh, small hive beetle. Oh, I got her. Woo. Oh, wow. That was awesome. I'm trying to eliminate every beetle that I see. I don't see a red dotted queen. Let's keep looking. It's a real faint red dot. We are going to have to still look carefully for her. Good larvae down in the base of those cells. Okay, what are you going to bet? Come on, people. Let's get happy. I really do feel she's going to be on the next frame, you know. You ever have those feelings like it's going to be there? I came up with this concept. Maybe somebody else came up with it, but I just came up with it on my own one day. If you pull the box away from the hive, the bees are much more gentle to work. I want to thank you so much for subscribing. Look at this. The new bobblehead David is here with his sign saying, please subscribe. It means a lot to me when you subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Click on the bell. You'll be notified each time I make a new video. Thank you. Come on, queen. Come on, be there. Oh, phooey, don't see her on this side either. She may not be in this super, friends. Our job is to find her today. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere. The suspense is killing us, right? She could be on this next one, but it's going to get less likely as we move closer to the wall because that's where they store resources, not so much brood. So this one might be our only last chance. That's okay. If we have to go down to the deep, we will. Well, I didn't see her on that one. Scanning again to make sure I'm not overlooking her. It's such a faint red dot, and in this building I don't have a lot of light. I don't want to miss her, and I want to go in that deep if she's up here. Didn't see her. We've got a couple of frames. We'll keep our fingers crossed and see. This one's heavy. I mean, there's honey on it, at least on one side. Looking carefully for a little red dot. Not seeing it. She could be there. There's cells there that she could lay in, but I don't see her red dot. All right. Well, we will have to look at the last frame just to be 100% sure. All right. I'm not seeing any red dot on that frame. Let's flip it over. Oh, beetles. Let me get my vac out. I can vacuum up some of these beetles, I think. They hide down in the cells, and then I can use this vacuum to get them out of there, the base of those cells. All right, well, let's just set this over here and let it stay here while we look at the deep out there. All right, let's go ahead and get a frame out next to the wall, and then we can scan across, look for our queen. Big old frame of pollen here, packed in there. They were packing a lot of tree pollen in last week. Did a great job. I got a lot of trees that are flowering around here. No red marked queen. Let's just leave this frame out of the hive for now. And the queen's not on that frame. All the bees are home. Not many bees are foraging. But we still need to smoke them a lot because there's a lot more bees here. It's going to make it harder to see the queen when so many bees are out on frames instead of out on the flowers. All right, let's look for a red dot here anywhere. Or queen cells. We might as well look for queen cells while we're here, right? All right, get my finger freed, and I'm going to start looking along the bottom. I see a bunch of drone cells, but no queen cells. On this side of the frame, I'm looking for the queen or queen cells. I do see a queen cell, but it's empty. There's two more that are empty. All right, no queen here. Boy, there's a lot of bees in here. I know there's a lot of talk about people saying, you know, wrap up your hives. They won't eat much. Wrap them up tight. They won't eat much in the winter time. They'll just sit there. But I've got to have a lot of bees, so I actually use my winter bee kinds to feed my bees all winter. I've done it for a decade and a half, or maybe 2 decades now. And I mean, it's just amazing coming out of winter with so many bees like this. So I need ventilation, and it works for me. Not saying it's going to work for everybody, but it's worked for me for nearly 2 decades. And I don't like coming out of winter with just a smaller group of bees. Oh, I found my queen. There she is. Right there, people. On the edge. My queen is home. See her right by my thumb? Oh, that is so nice to see. Now she's near the edge, and I always exhibit a lot of caution when my queen is near the wood because I don't want to ever damage my queen. I'm going to hope she gets a little more closer to the middle before I put her back. I'm going to put the frame back so that I can slide her closer. She's a big queen, isn't she? So in other words, I'm going to teach you guys a trick that I use, okay? You can see my queen on this frame right here. And she's walking toward the middle, safely toward the brood. If I slide it down in the gap, and now I just move it slowly next to that frame, then I don't have her over here that I might smash her. She's in between these two frames. All right, so now this is awesome. All we need to do now is go back to our super and demolish queen cells. That smoker works good. My smoker fuel by choice has, the last few years, has always been burlap. Burlap, burlap, burlap. I love my burlap. Here it is. See that? I buy food grade quality burlap. I'll leave a link in my description below for this. These plugs, I just, cut it, roll it up, and these plugs will burn, oh gosh, 4 or 5 days because I use my little stopper here to, when I'm done, just to stop it. So it's amazing. But I still need a little smoke because we're going to go in here and look for those queen cells again. Okay, so our queen is safely down below. The reason I can't use a queen excluder, I know a lot of you are thinking, David, just put a queen excluder and hold her down. I can't. I don't know what the future of the weather is going to be like. So if it gets cold and they cluster oddly, they might cluster in a way where the queen gets stranded outside the cluster and she can't make it through the queen excluder. I can't do that yet. I know it's crazy. I live in Illinois where it's cold. It's still not time to make splits and stuff yet. All right. So let's go looking for queen cells, okay? It'll be fun. This will be a fun little journey into the hive to look for queen cells. I believe, if my orientation's right, the queen cells are either on, I know they're on this one. I thought I saw some here. So let's just look at several of these in here to make sure we're seeing all of our queen cells. That's the thing about swarm prevention. If you really want to get to the place where you're preventing your swarms from happening, one of the ways to do it is just be a fanatic about destroying queen cells. We'll get a frame out of the way, and that way we can move a little bit. There's our beetles showing again. Got it. Sucked it up. Is there one on the other side? Yep, here's one. I got it. Get away from it. Get out of there. I'll get it. Get out of there. I'll get it. Got it. I got some beetles up here. Let's vacuum them up. Got it. Got it. That it? I tell you what, I can spend all day vacuuming up beetles off of frames like that. I'll make a video soon about how to make these and how I got the idea from a guy on YouTube. And it is pretty phenomenal how you can greatly reduce your beetle buildup by vacuuming them up. All right, let's stay on task of looking for swarm cells on the lower part, any swarm cells. But we'll definitely looking on the bottom part of the frames for swarm cells. I don't see any on that one. So now we're on frame number 3, which I thought maybe I saw something at the bottom. Let's just double check. No, those are all just big drone cells. Nothing there. Let's check the other side. I thought I saw something. There is one there, but I can tell that it's not got anything in it. We're going to look to make sure. Nope, it's empty. And those are drones. That's just a bunch of drones right here, drone cells. All right, good. So the next one is where I think we're going to see some queen cells. Again, it's odd that they would only put 2 on there. Usually I see a dozen queen cells. Well, they need smoked. They're just staring at me. See how they're just lined up there looking at me? Come on, break it out. Go about your business. They're like, what business, David? It's raining. It's windy. I can't go out there and do anything. All right, see if there's any swarm cells back on the bottom of these frames here. Start here at the top, move bees around. Nothing there. There's one that's empty. There's one that's empty. Empty. Okay, not seeing anything. Let's get some bees off of here. Now we can see a little better. So got blob of drone here. Queen cup there. That queen cup near my thumb is empty. The one in the middle is empty. So nothing here. Okay. We got one more to look at. Let's look at them all, right? Because we can. Okay, there's definitely a queen cell right there. Do you see that at the end of my finger? Has a larvae developing in it. You know, by chance it could be a drone, but none of us would ever feel like a drone cell would be facing vertical. They're more like, it's like, see, here's a drone cell here. See how it faces horizontal. But if they're vertical, like this one here that's empty, we're concerned. That one's vertical. But it does look kind of drone-ish to me, which would make sense why they would only have 2 in there. Okay, well, so we're just not going to take any chances. We're going to have to knock out all the swarm cells. If they look anything like that, I'm taking it out because it was in a vertical orientation. Whoops, sorry. Just kind of moving bees around. That's why I wanted to wear my gloves today. We really do some inspections for swarm cells. We don't see any on this one. Well, I think, like if you're looking at this frame here, I got a lot of bees in the way, but we're looking at the lower part. All of those are drone cells. Nothing on the lower half either. Let's check this other side. Nope, nothing. All drones over here. You actually have a drone starting to emerge right there. They need drones this time of the year to mate with virgin queens. You know, other hives need these drones. There's a queen cup there. It's nothing in it. Okay, that frame is good. Yeah, so a lot of people ask me, David, what's the best way, 100% sure way I can prevent a swarm? And this is it. Going through your hive regularly. Let's get these bees off a little bit. And looking for swarm cells and cutting them out. There's a beetle. Wait for him to get on the wood. Okay, I got him. Smash the beetle on the wood. All right. Those of you that are new to beekeeping, just wanted to show you some stuff. Like this is some brood over here they've emerged out of. Like on this, by my thumb, is tree pollen. Usually it's maybe elm or some crabwood trees or something early on. In the middle here is larvae in various stages. You can see it glistening in there. A blob of drone brood that they raise. Cleaned out or dried out some cells here that have eggs in them. There's eggs right through here at the end of my thumb. You kind of see this combination, but we don't see, now there's a cup there, we have to make sure that's empty. And I looked at it, it is. Now while we're there, let's just smash it down so they don't think about using it for a swarm. This one's heavy, so it's got honey on it. It does have a queen cup on the bottom, but it's empty. Let's smash it down right here. They can rebuild that quickly, but it makes me feel better. All right, let's look at one more, people, and then we'll know that we're clean. We won't have to worry about swarming for at least 2 weeks. It'd take them 16 days for a queen to emerge. If they started to raise queens now, they could raise one that could actually allow them to swarm in about 8 to 10 days. All right, I think we have a problem here, that's for sure. Yeah, so let's look at this one. This is a queen cup with nothing in it, I think. Here's a queen cup. Oh, I thought I saw larvae, but nothing in it. All right, good enough. Make sure there's none that I'm missing. Nope, that's it. All right, so we're clean. I don't know why I don't see those swarm cells anymore that I originally saw. Seems like I saw 2 that were pretty charged, but I only saw 1 this time. All right, so let's put this all back together, put it back on the hive. So let's, there's a gap right there. Let's put this frame in. The queen, remember, is over in the deep box, so we don't have to worry about losing our queen. All right, so what we want to do now is square everything up. So take your hive tool and you want to create a gap of about your finger width over here on one side, and then about a finger width on the other side. You want your gaps, so your frames are tight in the middle, but you've got a gap on each side. All right, we're going to put it back on the hive. Call it good. Now, some of you may be wondering, David, what are you going to eventually do, with the hive, with the queen and all? She'll just get back up in your super. That's fine. That's what they need to do for a while. It's just too early for me to make splits and deal with my queen right now. But what we're going to do, we do notice that they're wanting to guzzle down the feed right now. So here's the deal. We're coming up to some very cold weather at night. Going to get down around 30 degrees a night or two, which is fine. This is going to keep my jar warm here, the heat coming up out of the hive. And so I'm going to keep feeding them liquid, just 1 jar on this one, and I'm going to go mix it up and set it in here. Whoop, here's some nurse bees here that need to go inside the hive. There we go. They're like, we don't know the way home, David. I was like, okay, I'll just shake you in there. Young nurse bees are not going to be able to probably fly back to the house. All right, so what I did, I filled this up to about halfway with sugar. Then I filled it halfway with hot water out of my sink. I don't boil it. And then I added it to up to about here with sugar. And then I added a teaspoon of my pollen substitute, protein substitute, and about a half a teaspoon of Honey Bee Healthy. And so these are the things that I add to really get bees going for spring. They're gonna be wonderful. I got 19 other hives to put this on tonight, but they're gonna just be so excited to get this food, especially as it cools off now, and they're gonna be locked in their hives for about 4 or 5 days now. I mean, they can eat what they stored, but I want them to raise a lot of good brood and stuff. So let's feed them. They're already asking for it. They're like, "Hey, David, we need more food." All right. So looking inside, I'm not crazy about, this is going to allow a lot of the heat to come up through these holes that I'm not using. Now, I could just put things over them to keep the heat down. Like I could put an empty jar lid there. That's going to keep some of the heat from rising, but I can take some of the burlap that I use for smoker fuel that's not going to get wet and just lay it down there to help hold some heat down. I can do the same with the burlap here that I was going to use for smoker fuel. I can put it over this, let me see if you can see this, over this hole right there. Just set it down there. That'll keep a lot of their own heat from rising up out of there. All right, I'll just put a top cover on it and we're done here. I'll see you inside. We have a huge and growing audience on my live stream every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. Set your watch, set your phone, set your alarm clock, or if you have one of those old-fashioned analog alarm clocks, set that alarm clock for 7 o'clock Central Time. It's going to be a great time to get together. 59 minutes of more fun than a beekeeper should be allowed to have. We have giveaways, special guests, always a good time. I hope you can join me. Thank you for strategizing with me. That was great. And if you want to see the original video that I made where we actually opened up that hive and found those queen cells but didn't find the queen, it's a good video for those of you getting experience on how to handle frames and all. Here's the video right here. I'll see you over there.